Hey,
Hey everybody, we're Jack's Treasures. My
we
name is
are.
Brian,
I'm Tracy.
and that is our cat Jack, which is our namesake. This is our ongoing series of questions and answers, and this one is part one of probably about 10.
We'll
Uh, of,
call the
of
storage unit saga.
yeah, these are our top 10 tips for buying storage units, and we have done a lot of storage units. Okay, and so we have probably about 10 top or 10 big tips for people when they're
Topics.
buying
Yeah.
storage units. So, and rather than doing them in one show and it being an hour, we decided we
Nobody
were going
wants
to
to
do
listen to us talk that long.
yeah, according to our view count on our YouTube channel, I agree. Um, so today we're going to talk about one of probably the biggest things about uh, storage units, and that's where
Where the
to
heck do you
buy
find
them.
them?
Yeah, and I can tell you right now, that's probably the number one question
Yeah.
that people ask us
Well,
is
number
how do you
one is
find them?
probably what's the best thing we've ever found.
Yeah, that's true too. But a lot of people that are getting into storage units, they always ask us, or they want to get into storage units. They say, "How do you find them? How do you
Mm-hmm.
buy them? How do you auction off?" As a matter of fact, it even happened today. I had a pickup this afternoon, and the woman asked me, "How do you buy storage units?" Because I
Yep.
told her that's where we get the furniture that we get. So
There are two main ways, and that would be on live auctions and live auctions.
yeah, and really those are well. There is another way. There is another way.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a very popular way. Well, it's not. I shouldn't say it's not a real popular way. It's not a
Not
general
as
way for
common
just
way.
anybody
Yeah.
that could do that. So the two ways again are live auctions, like you see on Storage Wars,
Mm-hmm.
or online auctions. Now, live auctions. Let's cover that one first because that one's actually easiest to cover.
Right.
Well, easiest and hardest. Before the pandemic, um, live auctions were probably in our area. They were much more prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
You would probably find two of them or three of them a week. Okay,
And when
roughly.
I say of them, they were a lot of them tended to be like trains where you would go from one facility to another facility and follow
Right.
it.
The auction company that
Mm.
runs the auction goes has accounts with the storage unit facilities,
Mm.
so they would go and they would handle the auctions right then and there. That sort of died off a lot after the pandemic. To there probably are maybe about one or two a week now, and we
If
live in
that.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay, we live in Atlanta. We do know
Mm.
of one for sure that does happen. It happens the
Once a month.
once a month on the last Monday of the month if it doesn't fall on a holiday. Uh, and a live auction, what you do at the live auction is you have to be at the facility. Generally, you'll sign into the facility. You have to bring cash
Yep.
with you because normally a live auction is cash only.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure that you bring enough cash. We've been to live auctions before, and I think the most we've ever brought at a live auction was maybe 1,000 to twelve
Right.
hundred. I have seen somebody at an auction that brought 10,000.
Yeah.
Okay,
What was
and
his name?
I
I was gonna
forgot.
shout out his name and I don't remember his
Yeah,
name
I
now.
forgot his name too, but
Shout out to the guy with the man bun.
yes, he was a super nice guy. He actually, this was when we first started buying live auctions, and we have bought in live auctions before.
Yeah.
Our very first storage unit that we bought at a live auction was at Big Lenny's, I think,
No,
or
what was that called? I know what you're talking about.
yeah, yeah.
It doesn't exist. Uncle Bob's.
Uncle Bob's, right, or Bucks, or something like that. And we bought an auction there, and
It smelled like urine.
it did, which is why
We
we got
didn't
it.
find it until afterwards. We didn't get close enough to realize that the entire unit smelled like urine.
Well, we kind of knew that it did, but the stuff that was in there, we overlooked that part because we could clean it. It
Yeah.
not clothing or things
Yeah.
of that nature. At a live auction, what ends up happening is they will either cut the lock or the lock will already be pre-cut,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll have a lock on it. Either one is just depends on the
Depends on the
facility.
facility.
They open up the unit, and you're not allowed to go into the unit. You're not allowed to touch anything in the unit, supposedly. Okay, seen both. Um, and then they have an auction
Yeah.
for that unit. The person that is the auctioneer will auction the item off. If the auction doesn't go for a set price, the auction facility can say no to that
Yeah.
auction.
I've
Okay.
seen that happen.
Well, they almost did it with one of ours.
Yeah.
They asked the guy if he wanted to not sell it because it went for like $10, and he said no, I want to sell it. 9 times out of 10, they're going to want to sell
Yeah.
it. Okay, so unless it's a really really big unit or something like that, or there was a lot of money.
Funny story. We've been at auctions that didn't sell for $10 that were jam full, and they practically begged us to take them.
Yeah, one of them he did. It was
Yeah.
I think it was a 10 by 20, and it was
huge.
double doored, and it was full of furniture, and I mean it was jam full. But the
It
problem
looked like
is
there had been
we couldn't
rats in
do
it
it.
too.
We could not do that unit.
Mm-mm.
Okay, it was just too big for us at the time. So that's how a live auction happens. It usually goes until the high bidder bids.
Yep.
You know, and then it's the same. It's like, you
It's
know,
very much like you see on Storage Wars. I mean, almost exactly.
yeah, yeah. So that's one of the ways that you can go to a live auction to find one. And in order to find live auctions, you have to look in the newspapers, you have to look at the classifieds, you have to look at the notifications, and also
Or just call around.
Call the facilities that are around. Now, that's probably the least popular one right now because of the pandemic, and also prices of the units could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
One time they told us, they said they cannot have an auction unless they have more than 2 or 3 people there.
Right.
They have to have at least more than two of one. They have to have at least more than one. You cannot have an auction with one person. Okay, they just can't do it. So there were certain rules for that. Also, when they do a live auction, if they open up the unit and they see a gun in the unit in the state of Georgia, they take the gun out.
Yes.
Okay. If they see it, if they don't see it, they don't take it out. But if they see it, they have to take it out, because then they have to turn it into the local law enforcement. You can get the gun back, and you will get the gun back as long as it was not used in a crime. And it usually
you just have to
about
go
90
through
days.
some paperwork and things like that.
And generally speaking, when people do see guns in a storage unit,
the prices go up.
Prices go way, way up. Okay.
We don't particularly want those.
I don't really want
units.
them.
I mean, if
that and safes.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a very, very big video that we have. Look at our past videos where it took me 25 minutes to open up a safe and there was nothing in the safe. I will let you know, we have probably found, I venture to say, 25 safes, and only 2 of them had anything in them.
I'll tell you, we found more money in file cabinets. We found more money in makeup cases. We found more money in bags
Bibles.
Bibles,
books.
A bag of transformers. We found more money in all those things than we have in safes.
Yeah. Yeah, by far. By when I say by far, I mean,
and I'm talking cash money.
Yeah.
Not
one
even
unit
value.
we found $1,500 in cash money. Okay, so that's one of the things. So there are advantages and disadvantages to being at a live auction. One of the big advantages is you get to smell if the clothes was smoker or anything like that, or urine, as we did discover that. The disadvantages is sometimes if people see tools in the unit, it might have a bunch of other stuff in there that you want. One tool sitting over there,
tool guy's gonna buy them.
Yeah, the people that buy those units are generally flea market folks, and they really just want the tools. You know, and here's one of the advantages.
I think we're going in the same direction.
Yeah, one of the advantages to going to a live auction is that when it sells, wheels and deals start happening. And I'm known for doing a lot of wheeling and dealing after units.
We've bought stuff out of units and we've sold stuff out of units.
Yeah, one time I sold a ladder out of a unit before I even bought the unit. I won the unit in an auction. The guy gave me I think I only paid $50 for the unit. Sold him a ladder for $40. Okay, before I even got to the office to pay for the unit. So that's the big thing.
Another time, the opposite. We wound up with 20 unsearched boxes just in exchange for taking some stuff to the dump for somebody.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, he just wanted the furniture in the unit. His name was Frank, and he just wanted the furniture that was in the unit. And I said, well, I'll take all the boxes for you. And I said, all of these mattresses, would have cost him a lot of money because he had to reload them again. He was like across town.
And he was in a more expensive county than we are. We have a
Right.
cheap county
So
for
his
dump.
was a lot more expensive to take the mattresses, to dump those mattresses. And for me, it wasn't. So there's some wheeling and dealing that can happen at units. We got some video game stuff one time. The guy bought the unit. It was full of video games. He didn't want the video games. I'm like, right here. Okay, I'll take all of them. And I did. So I bought all of his video games at a unit. So wheeling and dealing could happen. Disadvantages, you got to have cash money. Okay, got to have cash money. That's the one big thing. Once you're out of money, you can't go rush to the bank. You can't do any of that stuff. You got to have a deposit.
Mm-hmm.
If they want a deposit down, you have to have that separate. Okay, that has to be separate.
And another disadvantage is the fact that you're at the whim of the weather. If you're wanting to buy units and it's raining, you're stuck out in the rain. If you want to buy units and it's 100 degrees, you're stuck sitting out in the heat, in the cold, anything like that.
You sit in the truck with the air conditioner running for hours.
I'm a princess. What can I say?
Okay. The other way that you can buy storage units is online. There are storage auctions that happen online. The three major, and there are many of these.
Yes.
But the three main ones that we use are storagetreasures.com,
lockerfox.com,
and storageauctions.com. Okay, those are like the three ones. The advantages to having those units tend to go a little bit on the cheaper side because people can't. They don't get. What happens is they cut the locks on the unit and they take pictures. The people at the facility, they're not allowed to go into the unit unless it's a manager special.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a manager special, they can go in the unit because they own the unit. But otherwise, they're not allowed to go into the unit. So they take pictures. So it all is at the whim of how good are these pictures.
Sometimes I swear they take the pictures of the potato is what it looks like.
Yeah, they don't hire professional photographers. There's absolutely zero doubt. So they'll put up like maybe 2 pictures. Yeah. And you got to look at those pictures and you got to decide whether or not you want to buy that unit. The other thing with buying units online is you don't know who's bidding on what. Because there are some instances where people will bid up other people
just for the hell of it.
Exactly. Okay.
On storagetreasures.com and storageauctions.com, you are completely hidden. They don't know who they're bidding against. You are assigned a bidder number for each particular auction that is different. So there's no way that I can be like, oh man, I really want to bid him up on those two sites. Now, LockerFox is different. You have a username. And so there's some users that I know. The dude from over at Secure Care, I can't remember his name right now, but every time I see it, I'm like, that's that guy, which he's a nice guy. I'm not out there bidding him up, but you start to get to know some of those names, and maybe somebody outbids you once, then next time you're going to try to maybe bump them up.
So, and that's one of the disadvantages to it.
Okay, sorry about that. We're back.
As I was saying, which I don't remember what I was saying now. Thank you very much.
We were talking about in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, I guarantee you, on any given day, there's at least probably 50 to 100 storage units are up for auction on those 3 sites.
Yep.
So there's plenty of auctions to go around. That's one of the biggest things with storage auctions is you can find them on there. Disadvantages, you're only limited by the pictures that are taken. And one of them, you literally couldn't see anything because they couldn't open up the unit. So the unit was opened up about this far off the ground, and that was the picture. Okay.
One big advantage of online auctions is you are not limited by what you can hit in a day. Like the online or the live auctions, yeah, I'll hit some in my county, maybe the next county over or whatever. With the online auctions, I regularly check 100-mile radius of me. And sometimes I'll just go in and search. I'll be like, comics. Let's see what comic auctions are. I think I sent you one the other day just for the heck of it, you know. Because I want to see what certain keyworded items are out there. That's actually how we found a couple of our biggest ones that we bought up in Nashville. If that was a live auction, we would have never found those.
Oh, never in a million
But
years.
I was searching for video games and found those auctions.
And another thing is you can buy multiple units at multiple facilities at the same time.
Yep.
Okay. So it's a lot easier to do it that way. A lot of online auctions, they will sit there and they'll say in the listing, no deposit. We take debit cards, all of those other things. They just want to get rid of these units. We could tell if it's a lean unit or if it's a manager special. You can find out all of that stuff on those online auctions.
And because there's some information provided, I can sometimes search out and actually found who owned the unit. I can search them on social media, find a little bit about them,
Because they have a longer period that they're up.
Mhm.
They're normally up for 7 days. So up for 7 days, we can look at that unit, zoom in as much
Yep.
as we can of whatever's in that unit. I see a new box of something, I could zoom in and find out exactly what that box is and what it sells for. If it looks
Or,
like it's
like I
full,
said,
if
who owned
it's
the
not.
unit? That can be very
Yeah.
big. Did I find out, oh, this person is elderly and they passed away? Or
Which is another topic that we will be
yes,
covering.
absolutely.
Okay. But again, you could find these things at storage auctions or storageauctions.net, Locker Fox, and storagetreasures.com. And there are a lot of others out there. Okay. There are a lot of others out there. Depending on whatever region that you're in, you might be able to find them. Now, a disadvantage of that is you have to become a member of the site, and it does cost some money. And if you become a premier member, I was
going to say most of them have a free account available, but in that usually you're limited by a very small bid radius. Maybe you can only be high bidder on one at a time, different things like that.
And sometimes they'll even limit the amount you can bid.
Yep.
Okay. So, and then the other ones are not. So there are advantages and disadvantages of both of those. Now, the third way that you can find storage auctions, which is one that we have used before, is call the storage facility itself. And sometimes they will have auctions that will go up for auction on any of the sites that we talked about, and they don't sell, and they'll contact us, and they'll say, "Hey, I got this auction. It didn't sell. Are you interested in picking it up for free?" Because they just want it cleared out.
Or like those manager special type units where somebody has abandoned the unit and they don't have to go through the lien process. They might offer it to people that they know first, rather than going through the trouble of putting it online and having to pay that fee.
Right. So you get to know some of the auction places. We had one. He since has moved from one storage facility to the next storage facility, where we picked up about probably 5 to 10 units. They were big units. They were bad units. They were hard units.
One of them was really good.
One of them was
most
good.
of them were a lot of work.
They were a lot of work. And in fact, one of them we didn't even that we didn't know was there. I was clearing out a unit, and he came over and he says, "Hey, Brian, do you want to come empty out this unit for me?" I said, "Well, I got a dump run anyway." So I went over and I looked, and it was like a couch and some other stuff, which I normally would never take. But I said, "You know what? I want to stay in his good graces." So I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll take it because I got to make a dump run anyway." Yep. So I threw it on my trailer because I did have enough room on the trailer. So 3 places that you can find them: live auctions, but you got to find those in the newspapers, locals.
Sometimes Facebook,
Facebook
might be on,
Marketplace,
there.
Facebook places and things like that. Calling the facilities for live auctions. Other one, online auctions. We gave you 3 of the sites. She can even do a link down below if you need them. They're really, really good, and you'll check in areas and multiple areas anywhere that you really want to check. And the third one is calling the facilities themselves.
Yep.
Okay. So those are the 3 places that you can definitely find storage units to buy. We're going to continue with these. We're probably going to do them every Monday until we run through all of our tips for storage buying. Okay, storage unit buying, because that's probably the thing that we have done the most in our. I feel like we
probably have the most knowledge to share with that to the reselling community.
And again, these are just our opinions.
Yeah.
So if you have any differing opinions, please put them in the comments down below.
If you've ever done a storage unit, tell us your stories. If you want to do a storage unit, let me know. If you have any questions.
Yeah, she was actually on our Whatnot show today. Somebody said that they wanted to do
someone who lives in our area.
And they live like 5 minutes away from us.
Let us know if you do one. We'd love to come out and help you,
Yeah, and I've talked to other people, and I said, listen, if you ever need any help with one, just let me know. I'm not doing it for anything in the unit. I still have a lot of stock from the units that we have. We got to meet a lot of people at storage units, so it's a great way to social, and it's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. It is taxing, which we're going to go into some of those other when we talk about some of the other tips, like our next tip.
It's not easy money, but for us, it's fun money.
Yeah. So we'll do another tip next week, and we'll just keep doing these on the Monday until we're done with all 10 of our tips. Okay. So Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe. We're trying to get to
100,000 subscribers. We are 99,503 shy. So
yeah,
you can be next.
We're getting this close. This close.
Yes.
No, we're not even close at all. Okay. Also, if you could, please help us to stop soldier suicide.
Mhm.
There's a link down below. That's one of the charity events that we are partnered with that they don't know that we're partnered with, but we're just trying to help out any soldiers. If you ever need any help, if you want to contact us on that, go ahead and leave a message down there.
And if you happen to be associated with Storage Wars and are ready to do Storage Wars Atlanta, we're on board.
Yep. All right, guys.
Like, share, subscribe, pet a cat. Bye.
Peace out.